Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at the fire march after the patch 2.8.1. The reason why I'm making this video because I've been seeing some interesting reports and I already tested some of it myself and I've seen some good stuff from the fire team after the patch, and Hippolyta already been very strong, is even stronger right now and even more consistent. Same with Empress Wu. Sendok, however, I think she is a little bit, the same as before, although the crit gonna help her a little bit, but in my opinion, she is not necessarily needed to be in this march, but I put her here because basically I wanted to do like a full fire, but if you want to go with another route, for example, with King Emperor, with Fu Fei, if you are, the higher end, like top tier fire marches, you can definitely do that, and they're gonna perform very, very good with extra, the specialization comes to play after the patch. It's gonna be a very, very strong team and a team to be looking for because I think this team gonna perform well against the double tanks as well because of the Hippolyta, the crit from Wu, and the extra damage from Trajan, and then you can have like the fourth immortal as an option whether you want Sendok or King Emperor or Fu Fei or another immortal that you want to replace as your fourth immortals. So that being said, let's take a look at some of the skills that I'm thinking about, when I looking at the full crit fire march after the patch. So the skills here, we have Trajan, we have the Heart of Arcana to enhance Empress Wu even more. We have a little bit more tanky stuff like Guard, we have the more normal stuff like Noisescape. However, if you want to play a little bit more like niche and go all out full crit, I think you can remove Guard and basically remove Guard, use the energy suppression, and then you can swap between no escape and weakening curse if you're meeting like the double tanks, the hybrid teams. But usually it should be fine because your team's gonna be doing great damage, gonna burst the damage. That's basically the whole idea of this full crit fire after the patch. And you have, for example, the Hippolyta, right? You have the specialization that recently got a huge buff, and you can use weakness aura. If you don't want to use weakness aura here, you can use it on your fourth immortal, which in this video we're going to be Sendok. And you have the newer skill, the Master Aegis, which gonna, a little bit more tanky version of this, but it is not necessarily, right? But if I were to use Hippolyta today, I probably use with Psionic Tide, probably gonna use with full coverage, maybe. I didn't put it here, but that's because my idea was to use weakness aura, Psionic Tide, and possibly Blood Rage. Blood Frenzy. But to be honest, if I don't have those skills, I probably go with skills like more tanky, like maybe Ogun Guard, for example, is a good shout. Or you want to go with one of the blessing skills like Rage Blessing. You want to go with War Blessing, Defense Blessing. One of these can also work really well here. As for the backline, here is an optional, like I mentioned throughout the video. The Sendok is optional whether you want her to be there or you want to replace her. In my opinion, if you can get the support like Cyrus, can be very good as well, but it's going to be very difficult to stun with Cyrus, right? So King Emperor, I think, going to be a very good shout here because of the specialization, which give extra damage to the main carry and extra energy regen from the start. And here I have weakness aura as an optional if you want to use this position as like a support, right? I would definitely recommend an aura. But if you want to go with double carry backline, you can go with time to shine, energy mastery, and corrosive power. However, I'm gonna say that corrosive power on Sendok got nerfed like 2-3 patches ago, so you might want to look at different changes. But for this video, I'm gonna use this, right? And Empress Wu being the main carry, and now that we have extremely crit, and you're probably gonna crit all the time, I don't think you even need to use weakness aura with fire, because you're guaranteed to crit right now, like basically 90% of the time. If you want to do like a huge, like unstoppable like nuke with Empress Wu, I would go infinite firepower, energy mastery, and corrosive power, right? That is like a very good combo right there. But if you want to go like a little bit different route, a little bit more free to play, doesn't have the legendary skills, you could definitely go with corrosive power or psionic tide with chase. If you don't have psionic tide or corrosive power, you can go with spell disintegrator, right? You want to crit as much as possible and as fast as possible, and I think these kind of help the team out. So that being said, let's take a look in the game how I built this. So here we are in the game with the build that I probably most likely would run with the main fire team with legendary skills. If I don't have that, I would probably use the chase, and I would probably use annihilations or some other mage skills that I have available. And I would probably run something like this. If I don't have, or if you don't have Fu Fei, you can use Skin Emperor. It's gonna perform very good as well. And you can use the same skill set. If you don't have these kind of skills, you can probably go with skills like Malice, because that's gonna be very good as well. And these are like, let's take a look at the report right now. Right there, you can see that it's looking very good. 13 seconds, and I did like 36 million damage for an Empress Wu carry. I think that it has a potential to beat the double tanks because of the Empress Wu alone, and this is one of the better, fire patches that we have in a very long time, with the specializations being buffed. Like this one, right? I have yet to upgrade anything because fire is not my main, but I've seen fire do so like incredibly good in the recent time that I want to try it out myself later in this patch, just to see like the crit rate being increased. Now damage is going to go crazy with this as well, and you have Empress Wu with the mage. Basically changes in the specialization with the second one, the crit one having more damage, and then you have the Fu Fei with this battle extinction or divine blessing that can increase the damage there. I think this has potential to be one of the better mods that we're going to see in upcoming KVK. It's a free-to-play friendly, and you don't really need those kind of skills, right? This is just like higher end of the fire mods that I think will be very, very strong. But if you do not have these skills available, I think this is going to be a super strong mod as well. I've been hearing a lot of people have been sending me reports, not in the game, but like Discord and all this stuff, other places, telling me about the fire mods actually is cooking right now. And yeah, I just want to make this video so you guys are aware of this. So if you want to go with a fire mod with the specialization being changed, you should definitely do that. And from this report itself, it doesn't show exactly how good it is, but it is like an indications of how this has the potential to be a very, very strong mod in this patch, and probably the next patch if they don't nerf anything with the crit. But yeah, that being said, I think this mod has potential, or the fire mod in general, doesn't matter how you build it, but with the specializations, basically being buffed. Now we're probably going to be looking at more fire marches coming through in this current KVK and possibly the next KVK as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. This is just a short, informative video about the fire march and the crate that has, changed a lot of people's marches. And I think one of the best outcome for the elements is the fire element, because with extra damage to the crate, I really think fire is going to be very strong again. Maybe broken, maybe not, but definitely going to be a strong and reliable march for you. So thanks you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.